Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Faith. Thank you so much for being here. Today I am doing my pregnancy glow makeup look. I think of any of the pregnancy related comments I get from people, the most are, oh my gosh, you're glowing, the pregnancy glow. Like, I get told all the time that I have the pregnancy glow, and I just say thank you and smile, but no, in my head, it has nothing to do with my pregnancy and everything to do with my makeup, because as you'll see once we get into the tutorial and you see my regular face, it's not like I'm glowing. Like, my skin really hasn't changed that much. I'm not glowing, it's just my makeup. I figured I'd share this with you guys, especially if you are pregnant and maybe you're not getting those comments of, oh, you have the pregnancy glow, and you want to get those comments. Do this makeup look if you want to get those comments, because I get told that I have the pregnancy glow almost every day, either on Instagram or in person. I am currently very pregnant, just in case you wanted to see that. I'm 34 weeks pregnant, so it's coming up. And I actually did do a very sped up version of this look in my last video. I did a third trimester day in the life type of vlog, but I figured that you guys might want to see me actually talk through the steps and see how I use the products. So that was my inspiration for today in sharing with you guys this look. If you are new here, again, welcome. I'd love it if you would consider subscribing to my channel before you leave. All you have to do is hit the red subscribe button. That way you become a part of the family. I do beauty videos, pregnancy videos. Once I have my baby, I'm gonna do mommy videos, of course. So if you like that kind of content, I'd love it if you would subscribe. But that's really it, guys. I want to show you how you can fake a pregnancy glow if you are pregnant, or even if you're not pregnant and you just want to look really glowy and like healthy. This is a great tutorial for you, so let's get right on into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is prime the face, and I've been loving to use this Laura Mercier Foundation Primer Radiance. I talked about this in my favorite glowy primers video. I've kind of just been going back and forth with this one and the MAC Gold Light Strobe Cream. I love both of those. They give my skin such a nice glow to start with, and it just helps the overall finished product look glowy. Next, I hop into foundation, and I've been using the L'Oreal Pro Glow foundation. You guys have heard me talk about this a million times, but this has been like my everyday foundation. It's drugstore, it has great coverage, or you can kind of make it a little bit lighter coverage, which is kind of what I do. So I just squeeze a little bit on my face and then take my finger and just get it warmed up on the face in the areas where I need the most coverage. And then I'll go in with my sponge and blend everything out. This is the Ofra sponge that I talked about in my April favorites video. I love this sponge. It just blends everything so nicely and quickly. This foundation shade might be like a tiny bit too light for me right now, but that's okay. We'll go in with a lot of bronzer and everything like that, and it'll make it look like the rest of my body. It's not that bad, but it's just a little bit light. And I don't know if you can see, but I really didn't put that much on. You can still see some redness and like pigmentation underneath. That's okay. I just don't really want a super full coverage whenever I do this look on an everyday basis. And I'm gonna go in with concealer and make a lot of that go away anyways, but I just really want this to be natural and glowy, and I feel like if you can see some of your skin coming through, it actually looks better. So I've been doing a concealer combo. I've been using the First Aid Beauty Hello Fab Avocado Concealer first. This is in the shade 1, and this is extremely radiant and glowy and dewy, very hydrating. But it doesn't provide a ton of coverage for dark circles. Once you blend it out, it kind of shears out a little bit. So I put this on first just to provide a base, and then I'll go in with something else just right in this area where I have some darkness. But this really gives another element of glow to my skin. It's just super, super glowy. It's probably the most hydrating concealer I've ever tried. So you could just stop with that concealer, but I like to add just a tiny bit more right in this area to brighten it up. And I've been using the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. I did a video on this comparing it to Shape Tape a while ago, like when it first came out, and I really like it. Lately I've been using it every day just for this purpose, right in that area. And it just really brightens this area. It makes you look really wide awake. Which if you're pregnant, and especially in your 3rd trimester, you need help with that. I do take whatever is left and just pat that over the lids. I did that with my foundation, my first concealer, and my second concealer just to make sure everything is the same tone. And then I set the concealer. I use the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder in Fair. And what I do is just take a little bit in the cap and use a brush to lightly dust under the eye. Instead of baking, this will make sure we don't look too dry under there. I do normally take whatever's left then and just put it down the T-zone where we put more concealer. And I also make sure there's no creasing on my lids and set my lids with this. Then I like to actually set the rest of my face with a powder. I use the Bare Minerals Bare Pro Foundation Powder. This will give you a little bit more coverage and it will make sure that your liquid foundation stays in place all day. So I just take a big fluffy brush into this and pat this, dust this all over. It also will help you if you find that when you're applying your bronzer or blush or anything like that right onto your liquid foundation, if you're finding that it's going on patchy or like pulling up on your foundation, if you apply a light layer of powder, even if you are dry, still do it because it'll make the whole finished look a lot better, and you can always fix any powdery look or cakiness with some setting spray. So next I do a little bronzing and contouring, and I've been loving to use the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. I just take this right up here in the cheekbones. I don't do a really serious contour, but I do make sure that it's kind of in this area, and then I fluff it up. Sometimes I'll take some down the jaw as well, just to try and thin that out a little bit. I normally will layer a second bronzer over top, kind of like a little more messily, just like all over to give me some warmth. The one I've been loving for that is the MAC Give Me Sun Mineralized Skin Finish. And I'll just take a bigger, fluffier brush like this, dip into some of this, and just go over that contour but a little bit higher. This has a little bit of a glow to it. And I'll take some down the nose as well. Now the next step is one of the most important parts, and it is a blush. And the blushes I use have a ton of glow to them. So I've been switching between a few. The one I wore in the vlog that you guys saw was this one here from the Physicians Formula Casey Holmes collab. It's this one here called Copacabana. This is not limited edition, so you could get this in a single from the Physicians Formula website. For whatever reason, Ulta doesn't sell this one in a single. You have to get it on Physicians Formula, or you can get the whole kit, of course, on Ulta. But this one is so glowy. I also love the Milani Baked Blush in Luminoso. Very similar, just a little bit of a different shade. It's a little bit lighter pink. Those are really the two I've been going back and forth with. Sometimes I'll use NARS Orgasm, which is also really glowy. But I'm gonna go ahead and use the Copacabana blush again, just so you guys can see that applied. It's extremely pigmented. You have to be really light-handed with it, or else you're gonna look really like way too flushed. So I'm just gonna layer this up. And see, I kind of went a little too crazy right there, but we can fix that. If you apply too much blush, go back in with your big fluffy brush that you used for your face powder and just go over it. Then this next step is also just as important. I then put another powder on my face. You don't have to do this, but this will give you a lot more glow. I've been going back and forth between these two. This is the Lancome Absolute powder, and this is the Laura Mercier, what's it called? Translucent Loose Setting Powder, but in the glow one. I prefer the Lancome one over the Laura Mercier. However, the Laura Mercier one is almost just as good, and it is a little bit more affordable, I think. But I just pop some in the cap with my big fluffy brush again and dust this over my face. This is kind of like a veil, like a mineral veil, or like the Hourglass ambient lighting powders that you can kind of put all over your face. It's the same concept. It's just a light layer of powder that will again set your makeup in place. It'll make all of the layers of powders kind of come together. So if your blush and bronzer wasn't really meshing well together, putting this over it will make everything look airbrushed, and it also is super, super glowy. So of course we have to do highlight, but I like to do that after I set my face with a setting spray, which I do after my eyes and lips and everything like that. So we're gonna move on to eyes. I've already filled in my brows. If you want to see an in-depth brow routine from me, I do have one on my channel. I filled them in with the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Shape and Fill. It looks like this. And then I'm just going to go over them now with a brow gel. This is from Glossier. It's their Boy Brow in the black shade. So for the eyes, what I like to do is take whatever bronzer I was using or some sort of bronzer and put that in the crease. I'm going to go in with the MAC Give Me Sun. It makes the whole look kind of tie together and just look really natural because you have this shade on your face, and just applying it to the eyes ties everything together. And I love the warm tone that a bronzer gives the crease. It just warms it up a little bit. It's the easiest thing to just throw some bronzer right in your crease, and it makes such a difference to your eyes. Also, bronzer is way easier to blend and put on the eyes than eyeshadows, even like a really good eyeshadow, just because eyeshadows tend to be a lot more pigmented, whereas bronzers are meant to go on the face a little bit more naturally. So it's a lot harder to mess up. So I take this in the crease, and then whatever's left I run underneath my eyes. I sometimes go in for like a second layer if I want to build it up. And then what I do is go into my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and I take either the black, like if I want it to be more intense, or I'll take this brown shade and I line my top lash line with it. Generally I use the brown shade just because it's a little more natural. So I take an angled brush like this and just line the lash line here to give it some dimension, some attention. And then I also take one of the two highlight shades. It really doesn't matter. One is a little more pink, one is a little more yellow. I really just use whatever one I happen to reach for. It doesn't matter too much. And I just take that on a tiny little brush like this and put this in the corner here in the, what's this called? Tear duct? This is my favorite inner corner highlight of all time in this palette. There's really nothing I have that compares to it. It's so good. I also take that on the brow bone. And I just kind of make sure that looks natural, not super, super intense. Then I take the MAC Technicolor, is that right? Yeah, Technicolor liner. This is in the shade Photogravure. It's like a super rich brown. I take this on my upper waterline. I really do notice a difference when I don't do this. I used to never put eyeliner in my waterline because I just thought it was like an unnecessary step. I always thought it would fade away because I have really watery eyes, but this one really doesn't do that, and I do notice a huge difference in my eyes when I have this on. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but in person there's definitely a difference. This side just looks thicker and more defined. And again, this does stay all day on me, which is pretty impressive because I wear contacts. I have really watery, sensitive eyes. I actually noticed in the vlog how many times I'm like wiping and pulling at my eyes. I didn't even realize I did that, but this stays in place. Then I've been loving to put this Glossier Play Color Slide Technogel eye pencil in Pretty Penny on my lower waterline. So this is like a copper kind of shade, and I think it just complements my eyes nicely. This doesn't have as much lasting power as the MAC one, but I just really love the shade. I think it just adds a little more dimension and really makes the eyes pop. So now I'm going to apply my setting spray. I've been doing this before mascara lately because I've just been sick of like gambling with the chance that mascara could get on my face after my setting spray because everything's wet and things like that. So I'm going to set my face with my setting spray. I'm using the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And while that dries up just a little bit, I'm going to do my lips. I've been loving to use the MAC Spice Lip Pencil along with the Buxom Plump Liner in White Russian. I just love the combination. So I start with the Spice Lip Liner and really define my lips. I get asked almost every day on Instagram what I'm wearing on my lips, and this has been the combination I've been wearing for probably a month or so. I do take this down the center here. I find it just makes the lips look more plump, and then I fill in the corners with this shade. And this stays a really long time. Like I can get through breakfast, sometimes I can't get through lunch without having to reapply. Not bad. So then I take the Buxom Plump Liner and just kind of lightly go over that. It kind of calms down the color because the Spice lip liner on me, especially when I haven't done a fake tan, is kind of dark. So this just kind of calms it down, and I do think it plumps. I don't get like a minty feeling, but I do feel like when I wear this, my lips look really plump. And then I top that with some sort of lip balm. I've been loving the Tatcha Camellia, is that how you say it? Gold Spun Lip Balm. You can use any lip balm you want. So now I can apply my mascara and highlight. I'm going to first do mascara. I go in first with the Glossier Lash Slick. This just really separates out the lashes in a really natural way, especially the lower lashes, because who wants clumpy lower lashes? I know I don't. Then I'll take a second mascara on my top lashes just to thicken them up a little more. I love the Lancome Grandiose Extreme Mascara. It's just super good at thickening and lengthening the lashes. I find that anytime you do mascara, it's a really good idea to combine two different kinds. I've kind of always done that. I've been stuck on using the Glossier Lash Slick and this one for a long time, but if I were to ever switch, I still would probably do two. It's not like one of these or both of these are inadequate in any way, so I have to use two. It's just, I always like to use two different mascara formulas. I feel like it makes the lashes way thicker than one mascara, even with multiple coats, could do. I always love to have one that kind of separates the lashes and really just coats them evenly, and then one that's good for thickening. Okay, and now for my favorite part, which is applying a highlight. The highlight I have been basically exclusively using the last couple weeks is this one from Lorac. It's the Starlight shade from their illuminating highlighters. It's the most beautiful highlight for when I don't have a fake tan on. It's really hard for me, even though I don't feel like I'm that fair. Like I'm definitely fair, but there's people that are way more fair than me that can somehow wear highlights that are darker, but on my skin for some reason, any highlight that looks darker than this just shows up weird. So I love this one because it's super bright, but it's really pretty and natural at the same time. I love it. As you can see there, the difference. So I apply this to the cheekbones, of course, normally a couple layers, and then I'll take it to the tip of the nose and the bridge of the nose. And that is basically it. So this is the finished makeup look. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching it. Again, this will work even if you're not pregnant, of course, but you just want a nice glow. Definitely try this makeup look out. I said this in the vlog, but I'll say it again. This only takes me about 15 minutes every morning. It's not your 5-minute or even 10-minute makeup routine. It's a little longer, but I think 15 minutes isn't too bad. Let me know what you guys think about that. I love you all so, so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!